And welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina. We are ready for our first game of the day. Two undefeated teams as Trilogy, led by Al Harrington, takes on three-headed monsters led by Rashard Lewis. Time now to join the men and women on the sideline. We'll start with Michael Rappaport.
I'm here with Gary Payton, 9-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame trash talker. Glove, let me ask you a question. A lot of coaches are suiting up. What will it take for you to get back out on the floor and suit up for the Big 3?
Nothing, because I ain't going to do it. I got some players out here already that can do this, but it's going to be good. I got a good group of guys. We 1-0. We're trying to be 2-0. And look, we coming at them.
Joy?
Thanks, Michael. Rick, last week your team played how you did your whole career, really tough, physical, maybe a little nasty. What's your message this week?
Well, today was going to be about survival because we're a man down with Kenya Martin, but guys are really looking forward to engaging this game. We just got to be tactical and strategical all the time.
All right, good luck, Coach. Gus?
All right, Joy, thank you very much. So our lineups are brought to you by Degree. It won't let you down. We'll start with Trilogy, who beat the Killer Threes last week at Brooklyn 60-45. Al Harrington led the way with 25 points. Kenya Martin on the bench today, but he has a tender hamstring. We do not know if he will play. Three-headed monsters coming off a 62-60 win last week against the Ghost Ballers. Rashard Lewis led the entire league in scoring with 27. Abdul Rauf in the starting lineup with the injury to Jason Williams. He injured his knee and will be out, from what we are told, for the remainder of the season. Hakeem Warwick called up. So we are ready for basketball here in Charlotte, week 2 of the Big 3. Trilogy inbounding the ball. So it's Harrington, McCants, and White. Here's Harrington, guarded by Kwame Brown. Interesting matchup. Kicks it out. White, rising fire. And the first shot goes down. I expect these guys to be a lot more fluid offensively in week 2.
Well, it takes a little bit, Gus, to know each other, but you saw in the first play, and right here, these are plays that they've worked on, and now they understand the timing with each other, so it'll be more of a fluid offensive set that we'll see.
Basden with the backdoor cut, and he lays it in. Now McCants inside working hard. Ball knocked out of bounds, and we will keep it with Trilogy.
Interesting matchup to keep our eye on, Gus, is Kwame Brown, Al Harrington. Kwame has the advantage inside, but Al Harrington, a little quicker foot speed on the perimeter.
Trilogy shot 69% in the second half in their win last week. Al Harrington, one reason, his 25 points. He really established himself on that short baseline on both sides. Now Basden working on McCants, backs him down, and a foul. One thing they're going to do this week. Last week, great competitiveness, a little too physical, and they've gotten on the referees to manage the game better.
Well, it's also up to the officials to have to make adjustments. They also want to allow these professionals to play, but they have to take control when it gets too physical.
Charles Rubia, Jim White are your officials. And another foul. There you see it.
That's right.
Number 32, and the second
5-2 Trilogy on top of three-headed monsters. Basden facing up on McCants. He'll take a mid-range jump shot. Short. McCants with a rebound. 5-2 Trilogy. Trilogy in red. White. Pull-up jump shot off the heel. Loose ball. Al Harrington got a hand on it. Scooped up by Lewis into the hands of Basden. He clears it. Basden wide open three. Lewis with a rebound. Doesn't have to take that back. Picked up McCants, and he lays it in.
And we saw a lot of that last week, Gus. Forgetting the part that if it is an air ball turnover, you can take it back up. Now guys are being more accustomed and comfortable to doing that.
7-2. Trilogy. Remember, the first team to 25 will signal halftime. Kwame Brown coming off a terrific game week 1. 17 points, 13 rebounds. 6 offensive rebounds. Former first overall pick, drafted right out of high school. Now he'll post up Harrington. This is a mismatch. Turns on him. Gets to the basket. Ooh! falls awkwardly. And the foul called on Harrington.
And the toughest part about 3-on-3, Gus, is it's hard to double team. So you're going to have one-on-one coverage inside. And Kwame Brown right now taking advantage of his side, knowing that Al Harrington has to either foul him or allow him just to get to the basket and score.
Lewis. And out of bounds. Rashard Lewis, 10 of 17 from the field in week 1 in their opening win against the Ghost Baller, 62-60. He also had 9 rebounds in 38 minutes. McCants deep. Count it. Rashard McCants against the Killer Threes had 15 big points. Played some very physical basketball with Steven Jackson. A lot of trash talking between them two.
And he should feel at home here, of course. Played at the University of North Carolina.
McCants to Basden, straight away. Brown with a hand on it, out of bounds, and Trilogy will get it back.
But that was smart. McCants knew that Basden struggled from shooting, so he double teamed, forced him to take a jump shot.
10-4, Trilogy leading three-headed monsters. Let's go to Michael Rappaport.
I'm here with Rashard McCants, former Tar Heel. Rashard, how does it feel to be back here in Charlotte?
Man, I love to miss all the Carolina fans, all the Tar Heel fans. Anybody who's ever rooted for me for my whole career, I miss y'all, and that's why we're here.
Gus?
All right, thank you, Michael. Rashard McCants, 4 seasons in the NBA with Minnesota and Sacramento. Last played in the Dominican Republic in 2015. Number 1 overall pick in the Big 3 draft.
Shuffle off.
So McCants, the inbounder with Harrington. Harrington guarded by Brown. He can take him off the dribble. Harrington step back, nicely contested, but a foul called on Kwame Brown.
I will say this, Kwame during his course, his time in the league, Gus, even though he was physical, he was big, he always had excellent lateral movement. And that time he was able to keep Al Harrington in front of him, but he bailed him out at the end by reaching instead of just playing him straight up.
So Al Harrington goes to the line to shoot 1 free throw, which will count for 2 points if it's made. So 2 points for Harrington. The three-headed monsters are inbounded. Basden, Lewis, Kwame Brown. Basden draws McCants, who's playing him to his right hand. Lewis backing up on White across the lane. Strip. Nice hands by White. Here's White. Bouncing in the lane. Ball fake. Step back. Count it. James White played his college ball at Cincinnati, 3 seasons in the National Basketball Association with the Spurs, Rockets, and Knicks. Brown wants to get to his spot. Does. Left hand, no. And the rebound and stick back by White counts. Didn't hit the rim. Old school playground 3-on-3 rule.
That's right. But if it doesn't hit the rim, you can take it back up. Again, making that adjustment. Last week we saw a couple guys bring it back out, but now early on we see that's not an issue.
Nice touch pass, and that will send Brown to the line. Subs getting ready to come in. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf and Hakeem Warwick. Warwick recently activated with the injury last week in week 1 to white chocolate Jason Williams. Basden checks out. Kwame Brown at the line.
Interesting. This is the big lineup I talked about. Kwame Brown, Hakeem Warwick, and also Sweet Lou.
Misses the free throw. Three-headed monsters get it back. Lewis knocks down a 3. 16-7. Gary Payton, the glove, first guard ever named Defensive Player of the Year.
They're too big. They're going to just post move up. I got to wait. I got to see it move. I see what happens.
Now McCants turns on the baseline, gets to the basket off the glass. In and out, but he draws the foul.
Foul charge is number 9 for the Monsters, Richard Lewis.
Yesterday at practice, emphasis on this guy, free throw line. A lot of guys just spent time just shooting free throws, knowing that the game was going to be called a little bit closer. So they wanted to get those reps in so they could take advantage of it in today's games.
So McCants adds a free throw. That's 2. 18-7. Trilogy. Remember, halftime comes when the first team scores 25 points. Inside, and another whistle. And you can tell already that the officials have made the adjustment. They are calling it a lot tighter this week.
And now it's time for the players to have to make the adjustment, because what you don't want is a chopped up game with a lot of fouls. So now you got to play defense without holding and grabbing. You got to move your feet. You got to slide, and you don't bail shooters out like we've seen earlier in this game.
Lazy pass by Lewis, and he throws it out of bounds. Deion Glover played his college basketball at Georgia Tech, in now off the bench for Rick Mahorn's Trilogy. Glover can shoot it like that. Right now, an easy first half for Trilogy, up 21-7. Lewis turns the corner, gets to the basket, tried to muscle it in. No. Loose ball batted around Kobe Brown. Power dribble and lays it up and in.
And that's the advantage Gary Payton thinks they have by having the size to pound the ball inside. It'll be interesting to see when Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf gets some touches and been able to get in the game.
Harrington spinning inside and fouled. Rick Mahorn, unlike most coaches, he had to wear his Chuck Daly shirt today. He didn't want to wear just a regular team polo. He had to get out his Versace. So Al Harrington at the line, 16 years in the NBA, right out of high school. Misses a free throw. Looks like a lane violation coming up. And Harrington will get another shot. Abdul-Rauf checks in. Formerly Chris Jackson. Gennaro Pargo in the lineup. Activated this week with the injury to Kenyon Martin. Even though Martin is dressed on the Trilogy bench. Harrington, another free throw. And gets it. There's Kenyon. 21-9. Harrington with 7. At 25 in the opener. Abdul-Rauf. Inside. Ward. Almost lost it. Turns. Off balance. Rims off. Snatched down. Pargo. Now Pargo can really shoot the 3. Played his college basketball at Arkansas. Inside. Harrington. Rashard Lewis trying to ride him on the baseline. Harrington with a drop step, dips inside, flipped it up, no, but a foul.
Gus, and Harrington is such a load on the block, but he's also patient. He understands that the baseline to be open, so 2 dribbles to the middle, is able to spin back and just barely missed a nice little and one inside.
Harrington adds a free throw, and that will signal halftime. 25-9. Rick Mahorn's team coming out focused, disciplined, efficient. Led by buckets, Al Harrington with 9 points. Halftime in Charlotte, 25-9. You are watching the Big 3 exclusively on FS1.
Start dropping threes like trilogies, like companies, like PIGs. Got the summer on lock. Big 3 on Fox.